place called Gramercy Park. Gramercy Park was a little park in between Lexington Avenue and Irving Place. And right around the corner from where I lived was a bar named Pete's Tavern. Been there for 100 years. It was a speakeasy during the 1920s. 100 years ago, there was a famous writer named O. Henry who used to drink at that bar. I always loved O. Henry because his stories always had an ending you weren't quite ready for. I tried to write songs like his stories. Sometimes I got it, sometimes I didn't. He had one story I especially liked about this young married couple, very much in love and very poor. And they lived in this old tenement brownstone in New York City 100 years ago. Living in this building with them was this old painter, you know, with a beard, never had a good word to say to anybody. And one winter, the young wife got very, very sick. She had a fever and she was delirious. And the doctors came and they said to her husband, well, there's nothing more we can do, you know. And in her delirium, the young wife, she believed that outside her window there was this tree, and there was one leaf on that tree. And she believed that when that leaf fell off the tree, she would die. The name of the story was The Last Leaf. And one day the husband was going down the stairs and he bumped into the old painter, and he told the painter this whole story about his wife being so sick and he was so worried, and she was delirious and she was looking out the window at this tree with this leaf, and she thought when the leaf fell she would die. Told the painter this whole story, poured his heart out, and the painter said, hey, I got my own problems. Typical artist reaction. And then one night there was a terrible, terrible storm, a tempest, snow, wind, rain, everything. And the wind was blowing and the snow was falling. And the young wife was getting more and more sick, feverish and delirium. And in the middle of the night, she walked over to the window to see if that leaf was still on the tree. And she came to the window and she saw that leaf was still there. And she had an epiphany. She believed, well, if that leaf survived that storm, I could get better. And she got back to her bed and her fever broke, and she went over and kissed her husband, and it was a miracle. And the next morning, there was a knock on the door, and it was the police. And they said, have you seen that old painter who lives in this building? And the husband said, that old bastard, I never want to see him again. Why do you ask me? He said, well, just outside your window today, we found him dead. There was a ladder, and he had fallen in the middle of the night. He was dead, frozen to death. So the husband turned around and he walked over to the window. And he saw that there was no leaf on the tree, but someone had painted a perfect leaf on the window. This is called Small Room. It's another story about a poem. This is a story about a sailor. I get my stories confused. I was sailing the ocean, watching a radar machine. Years ago I had some bad luck, landed in the merchant marine. And I guess I knew when the trial was through. The judge looked at me. He said, what else can I do? Good luck to you. Navy blue. We were landlocked in old Amsterdam, where I grew tired of scrubbing the floors. Take a walk through the red lights. I might buy myself a home. I'm a man like any other. You know what I mean, my brother. The captain looked at me. He said, old sailor, what you gonna do? Good luck to you. Cause I'm not that Hollywood stuff. I got a heart that keeps on beating. Once I was in love. She was painting her lips red. She pulled the curtain down. I was there for maybe half an hour. Time my world turned around. I asked if I could take her away. She said no, she had to stay. But still she said to come back and see her by another day. Love to you. Once a year I would see her when we landed in the port of Amsterdam. I guess I got to know her well as good as a customer can. She said her name was Magdalene, and she came from Hungary. Made more money in a week than her old father was ever gonna see. Good luck to you. Navy blue. Nobody called me handsome. Well, I'm not that Hollywood stuff. I got a heart that keeps on beating. And once I was in love. A summer with my sister in Cleveland. I passed my winter, old Santa Fe. You see me sitting on a park bench, another old man taking in a sunny day. The only thing I fear is if I drop that first